Welcome to the Sunday Reset here on Forward Progress, presented by Fanduel. I'm Rob Pizzola. Good to see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. Wanted to wait till the Sunday Night Football game was decided in terms of the spread, as the Giants were potentially had a chance to backdoor there, but we're done with that. We're going to recap the day that was. We'll start by zooming out on Sunday. We'll separate the signal from the noise, surprises, what we nailed, what we missed, coaching calls, injuries, all the stuff that's going to shape the next few weeks, then we'll flip it forward. We're going to run through the week 4 openers, what we would bet now, what we'd wait on, and basically just talk through where we expect the market to go. As a reminder, we do this right after Sunday Night Football this year so that a lot of people have a sharp, digestible reset waiting for them on Monday morning when they're driving to work. But there are a bunch of you in here live right now. If you're watching live, hit the like button so more people find this content. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a team that you're buying or selling for week 4 in the chat. I've seen a few comments already. I want to react to those throughout the show as well, as I think there were a lot of misleading box scores today and definitely some injury stuff that we can talk about going forwards. But let's get right into it. Joining me tonight, as always, on the Sunday Reset, my partner in crime, it is Clive Bixby. Clive, how are things?
Oh, things sucked today. How about you?
I lost money today. I mostly got torched on totals, and it's one of those frustrating days because I actually did really well market-wise in beating a lot of these totals and just didn't end up doing all that well. But ultimately, it is what it is. I mean, you're not going to have every week of the season be a winner. It's just the manner in which some of these lost that absolutely killed me today.
Yeah, I didn't have anything on the Rams today, but I can't even count how many posts I've seen that is probably the worst beat of all time. I don't know that I could think of one off the top of my head that's necessarily worse, because that outcome's normally either a missed kick or a win, like not that. So I can't think of one.
Yeah, we can start with that. I have like selective memory as well. So if there were worse bad beats over time, it's really challenging for me to think of what they were off the top of my head. But that one is particularly bad because there is no reason for Jalen Carter to score on that play. Like, the game is literally over. By running the ball back, he is extending the game at that point. So, I mean, first of all, blocked kick returns for touchdowns rarely happen. For it to happen in that moment, and with the swing of the Rams leading 26-7 at one point and the Eagles scoring 26 unanswered, that's an all-timer. I mean, GS said it in the chat, Rams plus 3.5 all-timer. That's, I had nothing there. Suma and Austin are good friends of mine, and they were tilted pretty hard at that moment, as anyone would be. But that's the NFL, man. Like, you just look at some of these games today and the amount of swings towards the end of these games, it's truly unbelievable. It's part of the reason that I actually love the league, to be honest with you, Clive.
Yeah, I mean, the margins are thin, and there's been a lot of kicks, it seems like, in the first 3 weeks that have had major swings, whether it be a block for a touchdown, penalties, re-kicks, everything. Just been an absolute, mess.
I think it was last Monday. I was at the Hammer Studios in downtown Toronto. Jacob, the Giant Gramenia, came up to me and said, "What's the deal with the kicking being so good this year?" He's like, with the exception of a couple people, like the kicking is just absolutely dialed in. I'd like to revisit his opinion on that tomorrow, because the kicking was not dialed in today. And what is it with the blocks today? Like, that just seemed to come out of nowhere. It was the variance today was nuts.
Yeah, it really was. I have no, and not to mention turnover variance. I'm sure we'll talk about the Pats game too, because that was one of the over-unders that was pretty brutal in terms of what a box score was and what the total ended up being. Just a lot of that shit. Really just a tough high variance week, and that's part of the nature of the game. And I think that's why a lot of people wish, there were more NFL games just to kind of begin with, because there's always something.
Let's get into that one since you brought it up, because I had a pretty sizable play on the Patriots today. It was one of my bigger ones of the entire season so far, and I felt pretty good about it. I didn't feel great when the Steelers built up a 14-0 lead off of an early Ramondre Stevenson fumble. They had a pretty methodical go-to-go finish there. Kenneth Gainwell went in for that one. But, I mean, like, this was the ultimate leverage game for the Steelers, right? It's decided by two Patriots red zone / goal line turnovers, essentially. You get the TJ Watt strip sack that set up the winner late in the game. New England was picked in the end zone with, like, I think it was 10 seconds left in the second quarter. Just like it feels like we've been talking about this for years. I don't know how the Steelers are the team that pulls it off, but they generate 5 turnovers. Offensively, I'd say, like, efficiency-wise, the Steelers were fine, but they barely had the ball. That was, like, such an insane game for me, Clive.
Yeah, and I will say, you ended up taking New England as part of our Circa Millions, and that was one game this week that I thought the line would kind of flip, and it never did. And maybe I didn't follow the injuries close enough there, but I really liked the play, and that was one of 2 games where the market didn't go the way that I expected to, that I liked. And I mean, I don't know. I think if you play that game over and over and over again, I don't know that the Steelers voodoo comes through fruition.
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that kind of stuff, because I measure my bets off of a couple metrics, right? I mean, most people are tracking their win and loss, and at the end of the day, you either win a bet or you lose a bet. I completely get that. But for me, I want to either beat the market, closing line value-wise. So I want to get out ahead of the number, because in the long term, I strongly believe CLV is going to win in the NFL. Or if I don't beat the closing line, I want to win on, like, an expected points metric that I can run through my own model after the game, just to, like, takes a look at the play-by-plays, the box score, and says, this is what should have happened. And very clearly, the Patriots won this game on expected points. So I don't think it was a complete miss. I don't like when the market disagrees with me or doesn't move and I end up losing the bet, but I really feel that the Patriots were the right side of this game. I think it got away from them quickly. Every high leverage spot went the Steelers' way, and sometimes that just happens and you got to deal with it.
Yeah, that's, like you said, it's the nature of what we do, and I'm thinking it's the same thing through, like, the Circa Millions picks that we have. When I make a pick there, granted the line is already locked, but I'm hoping that there's actually more line value to come after, the pick is made, and that's happened, and it's just not going our way.
Cottage in the chat says, Eric Eager was decent today. Bryce Young missed a lot of throws. Could have been 40-0. I'm interested in your thoughts on that game, because that's got to be, like, one of the more surprising outcomes of the day. Atlanta was steamed a lot this week. Eventually, Carolina got some buyback early this morning. But that was a game where the Panthers just, like, they led wire to wire. I mean, Atlanta had a couple scoring chances in the early going. They missed a 49-yard field goal. There was a muffed punt by the Panthers as well. I'm like, here we go, the classic Panthers. But the defense was able to back Atlanta up. They missed another field goal from 55. And then you had that early third quarter pick six, made it 17-0 right out of the half. I saw some comments in the chat. E-Colt says Michael Penix is not it. I thought he sucked today, but I don't really know. I don't know what to take away from this game, because it just seemed like to be a really weird one where Falcons looked all out of sorts, and I don't know. Like, they should score on the Panthers, but I don't know that I'm really ready to write them off the one game.
No, I think the Falcons are a very average team as it is. I think the Panthers have been playing at the absolute bottom of their range week 1 and week 2. I don't really do too much off of this game to Atlanta. Maybe I bump up Carolina a slight bit, because now we've seen something that's at least positive from them. But I was a little lower than Atlanta in market, not to the point where, I thought that the line ended up what it closed at 4.5, 5 was egregious or anything like that. But I don't like their quarterback very much. I really don't like their head coach. And, I think they just happened to lay an egg today.
The passing was like Michael Penix was a negative 19.5 total EPA on 38 dropbacks. The passing game, 31% success. Late down passing, negative 1.04 EPA per play. I mean, that is ugly, especially when you consider the opponent. So something to keep an eye on moving forwards. But just felt like that game got away from them really early. Life sucked out from the missed kicks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I saw something on X, Canales' post game or whatever, and talking about some dirty kicks in the field position off of those kickoffs. So I have to look and see what their average starting field position was for the Falcons after some of the kickoffs because I'm curious. But that is something that a lot of the teams are employing, and if they can execute it, it's working out well.
The good news is I had 0% ownership of Falcons and Survivor. The bad news is I switched some late ownership on the Bucks to the Packers today. And you want to talk about like a low event grinder type of game decided by special teams and just like the most random end game sequencing as well. Had to be Green Bay, Cleveland. I mean, once Green Bay got up 10-0 in that game, I felt so confident that the Browns had no chance. And it's just like another reminder that the NFL is insane. Green Bay tries a go-ahead field goal, 27 seconds left. It's blocked. Cleveland, 55-yard game winner at 2 seconds left in the game. I mean, the Packers' pass game was nothing great. Jordan Love's average depth of target today was 1.9. Early downs for the Packers, their early down rush EPA was negative 0.36. They were facing third and long all day. And I was actually surprised that LaFleur kept leaning into the run over and over on these early downs. But overall, I mean, this is just like yet again, another reminder that anything can happen in the NFL. The Green Bay is the hot team that nobody can stop talking about. Cleveland, a bottom feeder going into the year, and completely ugly, but somehow get it done.
Yeah, Green Bay is the team that I wanted to stay away from in Survivor, and I don't have as many entries. I'm in a couple of other non-circa Survivor things, but stayed away from them. The pick that Jordan Love ended up throwing was just so bad, and so like he's just not somebody I think I'm going to trust in a big spot, big game that isn't going to have like one of those galaxy brain moments.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. I like the roster construction so much.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's just that one bad game that's going to be in him in the playoffs in some capacity. And I don't know. I mean, listen, the Browns defense, I admittedly was completely wrong about them. Not in that I didn't think that they were good, but they were generating pressure with their front four like crazy today.
They did.
It was just a dominant performance. Now, Green Bay lost both offensive linemen that came back, Aaron Banks and Zach Tom, both re-aggravated their injuries and left the game pretty early. I do think that had an effect. You didn't see that effect last week on Thursday Night Football because Washington doesn't really rush the passer well. But that's something to keep an eye on going forwards for the Packers. If those guys miss time, probably won't be exploited by the Cowboys defense next week, though, because that fucking Cowboys defense, man, that we could be looking at historically bad. Like I don't want to overreact to things, but all the money that they paid Trayvon Diggs, looking like a complete bust right now. That money could easily went to Micah Parsons instead. He leaves the game late. I mean, they're calling it an injury. I think shoulder. He was complaining about pointing to his knee at one point in the game as well. I think it's just like embarrassment, honestly, from what the Cowboys defense looks like right now. Like the Bears cooked them today. Again, it was like another one of those games where it felt like Dallas had early momentum. They're in like Chicago territory. Javonte Williams fumbles, and like it just kind of spiraled from there. I'm not saying that would have changed the game altogether, but it was 14-14 at one point, and then the Bears just never looked back.
Well, yeah, I mean, once Lamb got hurt too. So the first drive, Williams strip, fumble, whatever you want to call it, where he just basically, I think it was Stevenson, just basically ripped it right out of his arms and managed to stay in bounds. So, I mean, Chicago then scores that drive, and the Cowboys come back. Like you said, they end up making it 14-14, and then the second half just dead nothing. And I mean, I've heard some good things about CeeDee Lamb. I've heard he's good for an offense.
Yeah, That was tough for me to watch as a Cowboys fan today. I'll tell you that. I mean, after they
I
came
was
out of,
surprised he got back on the field, period, even for just the one play.
I mean, there was this Bears drive that went about 10 minutes. I want to say it was 19 play drive that just like sealed it for them at 31-14. The only thing I will say about this game is I think there was it's a little bit noisy for the Bears because they were so effective on late downs. 0.89 EPA per play on late downs is extremely high, and that's on 12 attempts. Dallas's late downs, not great at all. So that skewed it a little bit, and that, tends to balance out over time. So I'm not really sure what to make of the Bears, but watching the Giants offense against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, you're like, man, this Cowboys offense legitimately must be horrendous to have allowed Russ to cook as much as he did last week. And even Caleb this week looked like a complete lemon for the first 2 weeks of the season.
I have to go back and watch the film and make sure that Dallas has 11 on the field at all times because I think they might be playing with 10. It's the only thing that I can come up with, but I'll check.
There's a few more items I wanted to get to before we start looking ahead to next week. The ups and downs. By the way, just really quickly, that Bears-Cowboys total stayed under. Like there was about a billion chances. Even Joe Milton got in the game late, and we're like, "Oh, here we go!" But like backdoor over. So anyone who that looked like at one point, it was 38 points at the half, that it was going to be an easy over. But we've seen some games this year very low scoring second halves. We saw it with Dallas and Philadelphia actually in the opener as well. Another heart attack game for me was Jets-Bucs. Man, the end games today were really, really, really insane. I never even felt the Jets had a chance for a large majority of the game to cover. And then all of a sudden they're leading 27-26. And then Baker does like another classic Baker drive. They end up winning the game. Just an insane sequence of events to end that game.
Yes. Like, what was the timing between that block and the Eagles block? It feels like it was within like 3 minutes. Like, I feel like I turned around and then that play happened. And I had the Jets in one of my pick'em pools, and I was super stoked, obviously, because if they make that field goal, I don't think the Jets go down and score what would likely be a meaningless touchdown to cover.
Yeah. I remember that blocked field goal happened, I think, at the 2-minute warning. Like, I think
just about, yeah,
right,
give or take. Yep.
Which was nuts. And then, I thought Baker Mayfield. There's a lot of takeaways I have from this game today, but Baker is cementing himself, in my opinion, as a very good quarterback. And I know that there's a lot of luck involved, and there's going to be the game where he inevitably turns it over like 3 or 4 times trying to force it. But he was the difference today behind an offensive line that is literally playing with 4 backups right now. He was very good on standard downs. I thought the pass game was live all day, even behind that offensive line, and that was even after Mike Evans got hurt. There was chunk gains all over the field. The run game was a complete sinkhole for the Bucs for the entire day, but Baker just bailed them out. And on top of that, like, the Jets defense, I don't know what's happened in the last couple years, and there's definitely some injuries we got to take into account for them. Jermaine Johnson was out. Tony Adams is out. A couple players in the linebacking core got injured today. I think Quincy Williams got hurt as well. But the Jets' defense is an abomination. You think of the 3 games this year. The Steelers moved the ball up and down the field on them. The Bills, the game was over before it started, and now this is against the Bucs offensive line, down 4 starters. Mike Evans gets hurt in the game. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me that the Jets personnel could be this bad defensively.
Yeah, it's. I think they have a couple of high-end defensive players, but then the rest of the units or the rest of their defensive unit is mostly garbage. But they were getting pressure on Baker, and he didn't. I only saw, I think, 1 or 2 turnover-worthy plays, which is normal. I mean, that happens.
Yep.
But it was. They don't have the same identity defensively that they had 3 years ago, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's hard to watch that defense right now. And even Sauce Gardner. I don't know what happened to Sauce Gardner. Like subjectively, when I'm watching this guy, just not the player that I thought he was earlier. A lot of the other early games were blowouts. We had the Vikings just completely obliterate the Bengals. That was
Jake
tough.
Browning sucks.
Yeah, Jake Browning was his A dot was very low, and he was turning the ball over. And Minnesota just I call that a snowball game, right? Yeah. It's like two defensive TDs. You had like some end of half explosives as well. You had like 62-yard field goal at the end of the half. It was just a destruction, and the early downs for the Bengals were really bad. I'll be interested to see what the Bengals offense looks like when they're not playing an elite defensive coordinator. So I don't know how much I take away from that game. And it's the same thing with the Vikings offense. Like, I don't know what to take away from that with the Vikings offense. The Bengals defense is really, really bad. And so much of the scoring today came from defense and like script, I would almost say. So there was that game. There was Indy and Tennessee, which like Indy scored 30 seconds into that game, and it felt like the game was already over.
It did. It really did. It felt like that there was literally no shot at any point that wasn't going to be a wire-to-wire two-score Indy game, and I can't believe I'm saying that about an Indy offense led by Daniel Jones, but I'm sure we'll get there too.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pick six inside the first minute to Kenny Moore, just not a good throw from Cam Ward. Cam Ward, like, he shows some things, but he still got that rookie in him where he makes a lot of mistakes. And they also don't have a full roster right now. There's another blowout in Washington. Commanders smoked Las Vegas. Another one, though, like, so many games today were won on like special teams almost. You had opening kick return that went like 70 yards, set up the first touchdown. He had a really long field goal, almost 60 yards at the end of the first half. You had a 90-yard punt return touchdown early in the third quarter that blew the game open 27-10. That's not to say that the Commanders' offense didn't look good, because it actually did. But when special teams swings a game that much, I don't really know what I could take away from that other than just to monitor the special teams going forwards.
Yeah, I'm looking back like at today's games, and there were 6 games, I think, that were two touchdown leads pretty relatively early, and 2 big leads that ended up coming back late. So that was the Eagles-Rams and the Jets-Bucs. But there were a couple of games where not that I shut them off completely, but there was really nothing to watch on them. And we had 9 early games today.
Yeah. I see some commentary on some other games in here. George says Tennessee punted 1 time, just gave Indy amazing field position. That is true. Jack says Saints kicking from the 8 down like 30 was pathetic. I think they just wanted to get out of there and save the embarrassment at that point. I agree, but like it's not changing the outcome whatsoever. In the late window, I was really watching Denver and the Chargers for quite a bit. And that was a frustrating one for me as someone who bet the over in that game. I think you'll look at the box score metrics and you'll be like, Rob, you did not deserve to get the over here. I mean, there wasn't a good offensive game. But if you watch the game, Bo Nix missed so many open throws downfield. And listen, I know Bo Nix is a well below average quarterback, so I get that. I'm betting on him to make those throws. But God, man, he's got receivers running wide open downfield for explosives. He hit one right at the end of the half to Cortland Sutton. Outside of that, holy shit, this guy couldn't do anything. And that's like, it makes me wonder about the Chargers. It really does, because the Chargers are the hot team. They're off to a great start here. Herbert looks great, but they still seem to be like, this is a game where Denver couldn't get anything going. Like, the Chargers should have stomped them, in my opinion. And when you look at what fueled the Chargers' comeback, it was like a run of illegal contact, DPI, defensive hold. It was like all these freebies that basically helped them. That's not to say the Broncos don't have a great defense. They do, and that helps. But I don't know. That one was a tough game for me to look back on, because box score-wise, it does look like the Chargers dominated, but the Broncos set up some really good plays that just didn't have success.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nix is not good. I mean, he's maybe a low-end system quarterback that if you give him openings and zones, you hope he hits his easy throws. But I mean, he misses some wide open easy throws too that are big chunk plays, and it's like, are you an NFL quarterback? Are you Tim Tebow? Like it's those kind of throws that it feels like he's missing.
I know and then he'll have that game where like everything is on point. I think the inconsistency is really frustrating. Lots of questions in the chat, and I will get to as many as we can when we're breaking down next week's games, and we're going to pivot to that in just 1 second. Before we do, a quick reminder: we are proudly presented by Fanduel on this channel, and the NFL is back. If you're betting on Fanduel this season, here are some things that you should keep in mind. Number 1, celebrate your wins. Whether your same game parlay has 2 legs or 10 legs, always use your legs to celebrate appropriately. Number 2, no kickoff, no problem. Live betting means the next play could be your play. And number 3, most importantly, if you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. And now you're ready to play your game on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Visit fanduel.com/forwardprogress to download the app today and get started. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., 19 plus and physically located in Ontario, 18 plus and present in Kentucky or Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connectsontario.ca. Okay, before we get into next week, we do pride ourselves on recapping every week. I thought we did a really good job of getting some good numbers this past week, and I do believe in the long run that will work out. However, unfortunately, it did not manifest itself into success for this past week. My solo pick was Arizona San Fran over. This was predicated on the injuries to the corners for Arizona. Decent CLV. Turns out to be a loss. So that was an unfortunate one there. Clive, you had nothing on your own. But we did have a bunch of consensus plays, and we went 1-4 on those overall. Atlanta, Carolina under being the only one that won. We did not get closing line value on New Orleans, Seattle under. We did get good on getting good on Chiefs over and Patriots over. Patriots over is still a very frustrating one. I'm not going to lie to you. But as it stands right now, year to date combined, good CLV, bad record. Just want to keep it in full transparency. I do think, though, going forwards, still looking to get ahead of these numbers is the best way to go here on Sunday.
Yeah, of course. And, like 7 games, a lot can happen, right? Like these edges aren't, 70% winners. It's very, very thin margins.
Absolutely. We will kick things off with Thursday Night Football, which is an NFC West matchup, with the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Seattle Seahawks. Most of the market is sitting at 1.5 on this game right now. FanDuel is like a -1.5 plus 100. It's the same as a 1, I should say. Total in the game is 43.5. Clive, I've been monitoring this chat since the start of the show, and people are very, very surprised Seattle isn't the favorite in this game in the early going here. I do want to note this is a Thursday game, and there are significant injuries on the defense for both teams. Obviously, Devin Witherspoon has been missing for Seattle. They're also down a couple safeties in the secondary. Zach Charbonnet didn't play today at running back. Arizona, though, missing their left tackle today. Paris Johnson was ruled out, and also down 4 corners, 4 of their best 5 corners starting the year. So all that has to be taken into account. Do you agree with the Nails that Seattle should be favored in the game?
This is where I would probably open the game, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't. This is, I think, the right opener. I have to do a lot of work to figure out where I think this is really going to end up. I mean, the Saints are fucking awful, so I'm not going to put a lot of stock. Like that was a game where the Saints absolutely cannot get in a game state where they're down, more than 8 points. Like there's just no chance. And no pressure on Darnold, nothing. He didn't have to do anything special. 49ers are good. The Cardinals didn't play horrible or anything today. I think this is actually the right opener.
Yeah, I honestly think it's fine as well. I can see all the arguments for Seattle.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't mention in the chat as well, James Conner out for the season. That was ugly. Took a hit to my Hammer. My Hammer fantasy football team today lost Mike Evans, James Conner, Tyrone Tracy. Like, I'm absolutely cooked at this point. But I don't know that I'm there yet with Seattle, right? Like, am I willing to buy them off of a blowout win against the Saints and a blowout win against the Steelers, both of whom I don't think are very good? I'm not sure. Arizona leaves a lot to be desired as well right now. I think in particular today, for them, against the 49ers, I'm watching this game. I'm thinking at the end of this game, by the way, I bet on San Fran, so call me a homer or whatever, but there's the safety that happens towards the end that gives Arizona the lead 15-13. I swear to you, this hold happened at like the 3-yard line. There was no hold in the end zone, but the hold happened early. Regardless, they get the safety. San Fran gets the ball. They drive for the 35-yard winner late in the game. San Fran, they got no weapons offensively. I don't know how the 49ers are winning games right now. You look under the hood here, Arizona's passing game looked fine, 0.15 EPA per play. Both teams were fine on early downs. San Fran sucked on late downs. They still somehow win the game. Like I don't know what's going on with the Cardinals right now.
Yeah, and I mean the 49ers, what offense do they have outside of Christian McCaffrey? And how you let Christian McCaffrey beat you in any way, shape, or form is just mind-blowing to me as well, because that seems to be the only thing you need to game plan against. Mac Jones is awful. I know Shanahan's system allows for quarterbacks that are less than to succeed, but he's definitely a downgrade from Brock Purdy. I don't think there's any question of that. Arizona, I do have a hard time, putting my finger on. While I think the line is fine as an opener, I think I might have interest in Seattle, but I kind of got to look through it a little bit more.
I could see that too. Just the way it played out today, the 49ers, with all the wide receiver injuries, they were not equipped to capitalize on the injuries in the secondary for Arizona. But I think this is fine. I honestly don't know what's going to happen in this game or where the market number will go, but I think Arizona, very small favorite, makes sense to me. Total 43.5. If it was 44, I would be somewhat interested in the under, just because the Cards offense can't seem to get it going right now. And I could see that Seahawks front wreaking some havoc in this game as well. But I think we agree. Nothing for us so far Thursday Night Football. Minnesota, Pittsburgh next week. This is a 9:30 a.m. game. I don't know where it's being played, honestly. Someone post in the chat. It's probably Ireland, Germany, London, something like that. But it's a 9:30 a.m. Eastern time game on Sunday morning.
Didn't Schefter fuck up a tweet on this?
Did he?
Dublin. On the Vikings, or somebody being he fucked up something. Dublin? Is it Dublin? Okay.
Dublin. I don't know what you're referring to. Maybe, possibly.
I don't know. Anybody in the chat? I honestly don't follow Adam Schefter, but I remember seeing somebody kind of bitching him out on Twitter earlier.
Yeah, I didn't catch it. Minnesota, small favorites on the road, -1.5. Total in the game is 40.5, juiced over at Fanduel, whereas most of the market is at 41 or 41.5 as well. Chad is saying it was a Jack Browning tweet that I didn't catch it at all. So, this is another game where I'm pretty uncertain with what I'm going to do with this one, Clive. I don't like the Steelers at all, but they still will be missing Alex Highsmith next week. We don't know on Joey Porter Jr. That's a big one that I'm watching in particular for next week, but I think he was 3 times DNP again, so I don't hold out high hopes for them. Pittsburgh defense is kind of unhealthy right now, whereas Minnesota, they got the full complement of weapons back. It's just the Carson Wentz experience is not one that I'm looking for.
No, he didn't have to do anything today either. Like I I I don't know how the Steelers do it. I don't have any other thoughts in my head of like how the Steelers are competing. Like I don't think they should have won today. Their defense, I think, has been absolutely terrible. Everything in my soul wants me to probably say, all right, the Vikings should be an easy pick here and then just move on, but I can't do it with Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I can't either, I don't think. I might talk myself into this as the week goes on. I definitely am struggling to see the Steelers move the ball against that Brian Flores defense. You see with the returning players, they like make a massive difference in Van Kinkel and Harrison Smith being back for that defense. It's really just Blake Cashman that is out from that starting defense at this point. But I think off the top of my head, without having like produced a true number just yet, I think this feels fine to me. Like Minnesota's slightly better team than Pittsburgh. They're valued that way. Total in and around 41 in market being a key number, and I don't know that I have a strong conviction one way or another as to which way that number would go. So I think this is 2 games in a row for me, Clive, off the start here, where I just don't have a strong opinion.
Yeah, neither do I.
Okay.
Or on the totals for that matter.
Yeah. Interested in the chat what people think with a lot of these games. You can post them as we go throughout, as you have been so far. Yeah. I love this comment. Vikings D-line going to swallow old-ass Rodgers. It's definitely possible. Definitely possible. All right. Let's switch over to the early slate for next week. First game we're going to cover is Chargers and Giants. Giants game just went final. Chargers laying 5.5 minus 115. Total in the game at FanDuel, 45.5, juiced towards the under. Just checking if other books have opened up, so I have something to compare this to. And they haven't. None of the sharp books are open yet. So this is a true raw opener here from FanDuel. And it's hard to imagine anyone wanting to put money down on the Giants. It's also harder to imagine when I don't know that we know who's going to play quarterback for them next week.
Also true. This kind of feels like one of those situations where I might have some interest in the Chargers team total over, and that's it. I definitely don't think I could put anything on the Giants here. Mm-hmm. And with this total at what it is for the game, I feel like I would lean under. But I do think the Chargers are going to put up a lot of points.
So I don't disagree with you. The only thing that I want to see with them is the health of the O-line, because I know they lost a couple starting offensive linemen today. Mekhi Becton left with a concussion. So far this year, we have not seen many players come back off of a concussion to play the next week. So I'm going to guess he's more doubtful than probable for next week. Trey Pipkins was in and out of the lineup. He had a leg injury as well. For them, their right tackle. Remember, Rashawn Slater's on IR. So it's kind of a reshuffled offensive line already with a couple more injuries. And if you're looking at the strength of the Giants defense, it's definitely the defensive front for them. So that I have to account for as well. I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up tomorrow morning, though, and this was off 5.5 and it was at 6 everywhere, though.
Yeah, I think that's the way it would probably be likely to go if it was going to go one way or the other. So far, I mean, we're 3 games in, and I don't really have a play on either any sides or totals so far.
Yeah, I think I'm with you here. Doesn't feel wrong to me whatsoever. Saw some chattering of the under in the chat. I get that as well. I need to see. I don't even know if I'll do anything if Jackson Dart plays, to be completely honest with you. I just don't even know how to evaluate him at this point or another. This is it's looking like a slow start for us this week in terms of finding value, but we'll keep moving through it, and we'll see if we can catch something. Starting with the next game, Carolina Panthers on the road at the New England Patriots. Current number at FanDuel is Patriots minus 4.5. Total in the game, 43.5, juiced to the over. Most of the market is either at 44 or 44.5. Just to throw that out there. Man, can I do it again? I almost want to bet the Patriots here.
So I struggle. Like, how bad are you like, how low do you have the Panthers in market, given the Patriots and what they've done, if they're giving 4.5
I
at
have
home?
them. I have them pretty low, and I mean they're definitely going to get a bump after today's game. I'm just looking at the market rankings for Carolina. So these are courtesy of Unpredictable. We've talked about this site in the past.
Yeah.
They're not perfect, by the way, by any stretch of the imagination. But Carolina going into week 1 was a minus 3.6. Going into week 2 was a minus 5.3. Going into week 3 today was a minus 7.7. So pretty cataclysmic drop there for the Panthers. 4 points in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably somewhere between the week 2 rating and the week 3 rating, in my opinion. I was really surprised by the defense for Carolina today. That's where I'm left scratching my head a little bit. But ultimately, I don't like their personnel. The Pats moved the ball really well today. They just gave it away over and over. And if they can move the ball at home on the Steelers, I think they're going to move the ball at home on the Panthers. I think this is light.
Here's where I struggle, though. I haven't seen the Steelers put up a single good game defensively.
I know. That's
Like,
true.
not one. And I agree with you with New England's offense. They should have put up more points. I think, from a side and a total perspective, I think, the wrong side and the wrong total probably won. But I was just curious. I think this line is okay. I don't think it's going to move to Carolina, but I also don't think Carolina should be priced as the worst team in the league. And I think this is actually an adjustment off of that, to be honest. Because to your point, the game would have probably been priced more like 5.5 or 6 coming into this week.
Yeah. So Christian Gonzalez would be a very big injury to watch for New England. I don't know that I know he practiced this week. I don't know that he's super close to returning just yet. Carolina lost their starting tight end today. Not going to be like a massive loss for them. I think the biggest issues for them are in the interior. That's another reason that I think I'm going to talk myself into the Patriots, is because, you're down 2 offensive linemen in the interior who are on IR. The Patriots have done a really good job generating pressure with their front 4 so far this year. I think this is short. I probably will talk myself into betting the Patriots if it remains in this range. And it's weird to say, but I just think they're in another league. The other thing I'll say about the Panthers, Clive, is like we're 2 weeks removed from them covering and almost winning at Arizona, but getting shellacked in that game. Like not even being a game until midway through the fourth quarter. And I don't know. I don't know that this Patriots team is that far off from the Cardinals right now, to be completely honest.
Yes, that's fair. What I do see for the nails in market, even at 43.5 minus 105, I think I lean under here. There are some better numbers out there, so take a look, and if you like the under, go get it now.
Okay, so you're looking at the under in this game. I'm looking more towards New England. Again, surprise, surprise. Sammy says, Pats have played 3 awful defenses, Las Vegas, Miami, and Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm going to be surprised if the Panthers are not an awful defense by year's end. I think what we saw today is not indicative of what the Panthers will be defensively moving forwards. I could be out to lunch on that, but
I have them at best a bottom 5 defense, and I think that's being generous.
Yeah. All right, 2 different looks on this game, so that's where we're starting. Okay, keep it moving on here. This one should be interesting in the NFC. It is the Eagles at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Looking at the board right now at Fanduel, we got Philly flat 3, favored on the road. Total in the game 46.5, juice to the under. Pretty much the entire market sitting on 3 right now, with the exception of one heavily juiced 2.5 that's out there. Totals are all over the place. Fanduel is by far the highest in market right now at 46.5, whereas the rest of the market's sitting around 45 and a half. So just wanted to shout that out for anyone who wants to bet it early. The Eagles are a very challenging team for me to model right now, Clive. I don't know how you feel about them. Again, tale of two games today, I would say. I don't know what to take away from that. The offense looked explosive when they were trailing, but when they were in like neutral game state, they didn't whatsoever.
I'm trying to remember which commentator said this or if somebody said this at the half, because I think I mentioned something along this line last week that they haven't been asked to do much offensively. And this is the first time where, to your point, they got into a negative game state and they had to do something differently. And lo and behold, hey, we have AJ Brown. Yeah, we could throw to him one-on-one and he's pretty fucking good. So then that started happening. So I think it's in there. I just don't know why they've been so conservative. And I'll use the word you've used, vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I think. The Bucs have survived these last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And with their offensive line injuries against the Eagles front,
Yep.
I don't know that 3 is enough.
Yeah, so I was going to get into that, right? So for offensive line wise, there's a chance their left tackle plays Tristan Wirfs this week. I think Schefter tweeted that he's leaning towards him playing in week 4. So that will be big because Tristan Wirfs is one of the best left tackles in the entire league. The right tackle, Luke Goedeke, will still be out because he's on IR. Cody Mauch is out, the right guard, for the season. Michael Jordan, their left guard, he was 3 times DNP this week and he missed. So I'm going to lean towards him not playing. So you are basically missing left guard, right tackle. Mike Evans gets hurt today. That looks like a multiple week hamstring injury based off how he was walking. But they might get Chris Godwin back next week as well. Then defensively, they lose Logan Hall on the defensive line to a groin injury. They're already missing Kalijah Kancey, so they get thinner there. So they're pretty thin in a few positional groups. Lane Johnson leaves for the Eagles today, but Sirianni sounded very optimistic about him playing next week. I think they said it was a stinger. And they lose Adoree Jackson, one of their starting cornerbacks, to a groin injury, which, I tend to believe that most teams put their best players in like a position to succeed, but I think this guy's completely cooked. I thought their defense got way better once he was off the field today. So I almost think that could be viewed as an upgrade. I don't know that there's a lot of value in I think the number's fine here, right? Like I probably would have sent out 3, but I think I can talk myself into the Eagles as the week goes on.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. And while I don't hate Baker Mayfield at all, I do think he's a top 10 quarterback and probably closer to 5 than to 10. I think he's been great for them. I do think there's been a lot of lack of turnover luck, I'll call it, in terms of some of what we've seen. I don't know what Chris Godwin's going to be when he comes back. With that kind of injury, is that even is he 100% of what he was last year ever?
Good point.
So for me, this is right now at this number, Philly or nothing. And I think I might talk myself into it, like you said, throughout the course of the week.
Yeah. I Pass Pro was okay today, but man, down 3 O-linemen against the Eagles front with a player like Baker who will take chances. I think I might be in on the Eagles this week. We're going to see about that. I don't know that I have it in me to click against Baker though, as he has just been absolutely nuts to start the season. NFC East battle here. A lot of injuries to go through on this one in particular as well, but we got the Commanders at the Atlanta Falcons. So the early line posted in this game at Fanduel is a 3. There's one sharp book open at a 2.5 in this game. Total is 45.5, juiced towards the over at Fanduel. It is, I think, expected that Jaden Daniels will be back for this game. I don't think that that's necessarily a guarantee, but he did practice in a limited capacity on Friday. So I think that bodes well for him for this upcoming week, although Mariota did play well. Of note in this game is injuries on the Washington side of the ball. Terry McLaurin tweaked his quad. He left that game really late, so that's something to keep an eye out because from a skill position perspective, they're already down Noah Brown, Austin Eckler out for the year as well. That would just be compounding. In the secondary, Marshawn Lattimore left with a concussion. Trey Amos left with a calf injury. Will Harris broke his fibula. He's going on IR. 3 starters in the secondary all got hurt today. And for those reasons, if there's 3s in market right now, Clive, I am very inclined to scoop the 3s with Atlanta.
Yeah. Does this total seem high to you?
It also seems high to me. Yes.
So for me, I have interest in the under of 45.5. That was the first look. I agree with you, by the way, though. If there are 3s out there, that's where I am leaning. But the total is what caught my eye first.
It was just the secondary injuries that kind of had me off of it. Plus, AJ Terrell was out this week for Atlanta, and I don't know that he'll be back next week as well. So you could potentially be dealing with multiple injuries in the secondary. But I am very, very interested in the 3 here. I mean, listen, even if Jaden Daniels does return, we've seen this time and time again, these quarterbacks coming off of injury that just underperform in that first game back. I think there's so many reasons that the Falcons are very live in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go. I'm taking Atlanta here. You're going with the under in the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep it moving here. This one we won't spend too much time on because the Lions are playing on Monday Night Football. We haven't seen them play this week. We did see the Browns upset the Packers. There are some lines open here in a variety of spots as it stands right now. FanDuel's at 8.5. Lions laying 8.5 at home. Total in the game 45.5. It feels okay to me, but I do want to say there is part of me that hopes that the Lions get obliterated by the Ravens on Monday Night Football so that I could potentially buy them a little bit lower than this price.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't have a strong feeling here on the side or the total for that matter.
The Browns offense is just so dead. Like I understand that the defense is really good, but at some point, I mean, look at the 3 games so far, the offensive output, right? They barely could score on the Bengals defense. They put up 17 against the Ravens and they were trailing for the entirety of that game. Today they score 13. Listen, they've played 2 good defenses, I'll give you that, but I just don't think that they have the horses to keep up. And the Lions in that dome, I think they can move it. So yeah, I think at this point it seems okay to me, but if the Lions get a bad performance tomorrow night, I'd like to buy them for the following week.
I know some people think that alt lines are scammy, but I think alt lines are something that I might look at throughout the course of this week.
Yeah. Chosen says Flacco cannot start another game. I thought there was a chance today that he was going to get pulled at some point in the game. Ends up leading them back to victory. But I do think sooner rather than later, we're going to get Dylan Gabriel. And I think that could be messy in the early going as well.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I'm trying to think through things if I was a head coach and the kind of situation I'd want to put a young quarterback in. And against like the Green Bay front, I don't think I would have wanted to bring him in today. Probably not the Lions either, but I do think that there's a spot in the near future where Flacco is going to continue to underperform and they're not going to move the ball and we're going to see Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, he's just a statue right now. Thoughts on the total at 45.5. I've been not projecting Browns totals properly so far this year, so I'm going to kind of just sit this one out at this point. I don't know if you have any thoughts, Clive.
I struggle when you have a super, super strong defense and an explosive offense, but that defense that's really strong has a molasses offense that can't do anything either. I certainly didn't have any interest in the over today in Green Bay, Cleveland. I think if I would have bet anything, it would have been the under. I didn't have a play in that game. But I think it would probably be, I just have more feels on Detroit by itself than Cleveland and a combined total.
Yep. I feel like I'm with you there. We'll keep it moving along here. AFC South, it is the Titans at the Texans. The Barf Bowl, I might coin this one as, because these teams both make me ill watching them. Houston is a touchdown favorite at home, laying 7. Total at Fanduel, 38.5, juiced over. Numbers all over market here, and there's a total at 40.5. I'm surprised we're seeing these types of spreads right now at this point, because if you shop around, you can get some decent numbers one way or another. I'll throw to you here first. I have some general thoughts on this one, Clive, but I'm interested. What do you think here?
How do you want to lay any kind of margin with Houston in any spot right now? That's where my initial thought goes. And I wasn't high on Houston to begin the season anyway. And I do think Tennessee's terrible. This feels like a lot to ask of Houston.
Am with you. So it must be noted, Brian Callahan now 3-17 against the spread. He is a horrendous football coach. Scares the absolute shit out of me. They have injuries on the O-line at right guard and at right tackle. Their nose tackle, Tavondre Sweat, is out. Number 1 corner, Jarvis Brownlee, is out. They are a beat-up team. I still don't think I could get to 7 with the state of Houston's offense. And there's upside of these players coming back. And there's the potential upside of Derek Stingley being out because he left the game for Houston today as well. I mean, this is just one of those absolutely gut-wrenchingly painful ones where I just feel like the 7 is valuable. Yeah, even with as brain dead of a head coach as they have.
Yeah, this stings.
Because there's so many paths to Houston just winning on the backs of their defense in this game. Mm-hmm. The Titans' offense is also deplorable. Houston's defense will be very live to score a touchdown here in this game as well. I don't know. You want to lock it in at the 7 for the show record? I mean, here's where I'm at, Clive. If it moves off 7 to 6.5 and I miss it, guess what? I'm going to sleep just fine. Yeah. If I wait and potentially we get some positive injury information for the Titans over the course of the week and there's still a 7, I'll be okay clicking it at that point. I'm having so much trouble with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like a little bit more certainty of who's going to be in and who's going to be out if I can. I mean, you're not going to get that on Monday and Tuesday for sure, but if you put a metaphorical gun to my head, I am clicking Tennessee.
Okay.
But I don't love it.
Next question I'm going to ask you. Does the total seem low to you?
It did. It did.
Because this is modern day NFL, and this is like the environment is completely kosher to scoring points in the dome, fast track. I know, believe me, I know how bad the offenses are. I get it. It was only week 1 where we saw a total in the 30s with the Steelers and Jets, which was like over at the half. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this and it's just too bad. I'm just surprised to see it. I'm surprised to see the 3 in front of it.
Yeah, I thought it would be 39.5, 40.5, somewhere in that range. But like Chosen's saying, like Callahan will kick multiple 60-yard field goals. That's probably true.
Guy he's like insane, coach. Insane. I can't even tell you how quickly I would click this number if it was any other coach, any other one in the league.
And, the Jags defense is not particularly good, and Houston didn't do shit either. So Stroud doesn't look good. I don't think he's looked good in a season and a half now, probably. I don't know. Yeah, I can't take an over. I don't know what the number would have to be for me to like instant click over, but right now, even at that number, I can't. But
Okay.
instinctively, intuitively, it does feel low.
Well, I just needed you to say that to me, and
Yeah.
I'm fine moving on. Sometimes you need your friends to just, it was Ali G that used to say, "Check yourself before you wreck yourself,"
Mm.
and that's what I think I got to do in this situation because I have too many thoughts on this game, and these teams are bad, and one it could be like insanely bad, certainly possible. New Orleans at Buffalo. Our next, holy shit, is this a real
Yeah.
number? It sure is. Minus 16 and a half, minus 115 for Buffalo. Total in the game 48 and a half, juiced towards the under. Like that, this is a big number for week 4 NFL. Like very,
Hmm.
very big number.
And yet, I think it completely reasonable and in line.
Yeah, I'm not like backing the Saints. I can't. Fuck, man. Some of the conversations I'm gonna have to be having with myself over the course of this week are truly insane. There's no way I'm ever laying this with Buffalo. I'll tell you that right now. I'll get that out of the way as it stands. I definitely want to monitor injuries here. Ed Oliver and Matt Milano being the key ones for the Bills on the defensive side of the ball. I mean,
This
Clive,
is tough. I mean,
Clive,
there's
like
nothing I really want to click here.
they were just like 10 and a half, 11 to Miami and played a close game. That was Miami was very live for a large portion of that game.
Yeah, I do consider the Saints significantly worse. Like, I have the Saints as the worst team in football, with Tennessee as a very, very close second.
Yeah.
I
Interesting
also
chat.
don't know if the quarterback's going to change at all. If Rattler's going to have any kind of a shorter leash or not, whether that matters or not, I don't know to people.
Yeah. D says going to be a lot of Saints leans given out this week. I can see that.
I love when people give out the old lean,
I'm gonna have to do
count it if
some
it wins.
self-reflection. Oh yeah, that's how the leans work. Leans are good. They go in the win column when they win. When they lose, it's nothing.
Yeah.
GS says I got the Saints as 8 points worse than an average team. Let's see what I had them as going into today. I don't set my numbers just based off of I had them as a minus 7.3 going into today. They suck.
Yeah.
All right.
Horrible.
You know what? Colt says I'm not betting the fucking Saints, man. We spent too much on that. We spent too much time on here already. I'd prefer to just keep the show moving forwards with some games that are not going to make me want to vomit. And to this one, it's a good one. Colts on the road at the Rams, and taking a look at the current market at Fanduel and the rest of the board. Fanduel's at a 3.5, juice towards the Rams. We're looking at some sharp books in the space, juice the opposite way towards the Colts. Total in the game, Fanduel 47.5. The over there would be the best market price right now. The rest of the books are around 48.5 at this point. Are you buying the Colts?
I'm buying that they're an over team.
Yeah.
Denver does have a good defense, so I can't use the thing that, well, they haven't played anybody yet, because they have, and they actually were able to move the ball and be okay against Denver. What did that game close out last week for a total? 45.5, something like that.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but that sounds about right.
I'm checking. Oh no, God, they closed much worse. 43.5. Rams are a much more competent offense too. That game was an Indy.
So here's where I stand on this one. I see a lot of love for the over in the chat. Colton over in the chat so far. If you So based off of like priors, let's say season market numbers at this point, I'd make a pretty strong argument that the Rams seem like a valuable side, especially if this pushes towards 3.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just gave me the portfolios of these teams so far this year, and I didn't know anything historically about either, and this is a really dumb way to put it because obviously priors matter, but I don't know how much they matter with the Colts is kind of what I'm getting at here. If you just gave me those profiles, I'd be like, this game should be a pick 'em probably because the Colts have been really good. And you can talk about, a couple of games where Miami, Tennessee, those are defenses that they should move it on. They moved it on Denver pretty consistently as well. They could have lost that game, and maybe you could argue that they should have lost that game. I don't know. It was definitely a coin toss. But that was a game where they proved that they could move it on a good defense. The Rams are still without Akello Witherspoon. He's on IR. It basically comes down to whether their edge rushers can get home in this game. I'm pretty torn. I don't really have a strong feel for this one.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Like, this is the cheapest that the Rams would have been throughout this course of the season in this game.
Yeah.
And to your point, like, take away some of the quote unquote pedigree. Maybe it's the Rams 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a really, really tough spot. I think how much do you believe in Indy? I need to dig in some numbers a little bit, but I do think I like the over for a total look.
Okay. Of note as well, I do want to mention for Indy today, Alec Pierce got another concussion. He's been dealing with concussions for years now. I would not expect him to play next week. They also lost their slot corner, Kenny Moore, as well. Kenny Moore had that early pick 6 in the game, and he'll be missing. And that's a pretty decent sized blow against this Rams offense as well. So those are a couple to monitor going into it. Man. The Colts, I feel good about the Colts as a team this year, but they could also have that Saints vibe from a year ago. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Like, really good start to the year. Offense looks great. Takes a few weeks for teams to figure it out, and then that's it. Now, granted, Carr ended up getting hurt. There was a lot of things that happened. Olave got hurt. It's not apples to apples, but
I don't know how much of this to kind of credit to the coach versus how much of Daniel Jones to discredit in his situation in the Giants. I do think when you put him at, I feel like if you look back into some of our old like episodes,
mm-hmm.
I remember saying, or at least I remember thinking, like, things like Daniel Jones design runs do a lot to open up the rest of the passing game.
Yep.
And it seems like the way the Indy's game planning, they're moving him around enough, or he's moving around enough,
yes.
and he's got enough awareness. They're doing a really good job with his strengths. So I don't think it's fool's gold. It's just how much adjustments, to your point, can other teams make to this, and where does water find its level?
Yep. Shane Steichen would have my vote for Coach of the Year right now. I wouldn't even think twice about it if I was.
You'd have the market cornered.
Yep, I would have it. I mean, I wish I did have the market cornered on Coach of the Year, but unfortunately I do not. Jacksonville heading out on the road to take on the San Fran 49ers. Current market at Fanduel is San Fran laying 3.5 minus 118. Total in the game 45.5. Juice towards the over. Not everywhere is open on this game yet, as Brock Purdy's status is up in the air, although it seems like it's likely he will be back next week, along with Jawan Jennings. If I had to guess, both will play. Just taking a look on the injury front, Jacksonville's still pretty clean. De'Ami Brown got hurt today, hurts their wide receiver depth. It's really the San Fran injuries on offense that need to be monitored. Obviously, Kittle's on IR. Wide receiver 1 to 3 injured. Their left guard is injured as well. They lose Bosa today on the defensive line. And I have not seen an update on that just yet, but it looked at the time like it could potentially be a serious injury, potentially season ending. Not entirely sure on that. I'm just speculating. What do we do here? Jags and 49ers.
Trevor Lawrence sucks.
Yeah, he sucks.
To me, the first thing that I'm thinking of is this is an under.
Yeah. I'm not with you, but I understand that I see the validity to that play.
And 45.5 at this price looks like it might be best in market or close to best in market. But yeah, this is I can't click the Jaguars, unfortunately.
I know. It's another one of these.
And I also, until I know if Purdy's playing or not, or who the quarterback's going to be, I wouldn't. Just to be clear to everybody in the chat, I wouldn't click a total here. But that's just the look that I see immediately.
I think this is going to be a wait and see for me as well. I definitely think that the more I see Lawrence play, the more I realize that I don't think he's ever going to be the generational talent that people thought he was going to be. There was a pretty critical play against Houston today when the game was tied. Nico Collins fumbled at like the Jacksonville 20 after a big first down catch, or else they could easily have lost that game instead of coming out on the winning side. It was just like this deep. Nothing screams to me on this one. I know you.
No, I just really wanted to share my disdain for Jacksonville, and this is definitely not Liam Cohen's fault either, by the way, because I do think he's schemed some good stuff. I mean, how many drops does Thomas have at wide receiver for Jacksonville? Like, just nobody is playing up to what I think their ability is there.
Yeah,
and it's not a scheme issue.
I feel so. My only problem with your under is that I think the Jags have gone up against the Panthers and Texans, who have two extremely vanilla offenses. And the one time they ended up playing a better offense was the Bengals. They end up getting a lot of Jake Browning in that game. Still couldn't really get off the field. I think I just have to wait and see on this one as well.
Yeah, same. I wish I had a play for you guys, but I don't.
I know. I listen. I gotta call it how it is. There's going to be some weeks where there's just very little to do with the openers here, and so far for me, that is one of those weeks. Baltimore and Kansas City, our next game. Obviously, we're waiting for Baltimore to play on Monday Night Football as well against the Detroit Lions. Currently, Fanduel does have a number up though, which is Baltimore -3, -102. That's -144 on the money line. Early total in the game is set at 48.5. I think Baltimore 3 is fine.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes actually threw the ball downfield a little bit last couple drives. It's the Giants defense, but
it was very hit or miss for him today, I will say. There was some time, I mean, I went
some of the backwards passes.
Man, the backwards passes were nuts. I went through a hell of a roller coaster with Mahomes today. From like Mahomes is completely washed to Mahomes is back to he's washed again. They at least have Tyquan Thornton, stretching vertically, which is nice. I don't know. It was such a weird game. I don't think the Chiefs are very good right now. I really don't.
No. When can Rice come back and play? Like, he came back to practice this week, no?
Well, Rice's 6 games, I think, was his original
suspension.
6? Yeah.
So, yeah, he's going to be a big add, obviously. I know I'm not saying anything. I'm not splitting the atom by saying that. But you bring him and Worthy back, and you have some speed with Thornton Maybe that opens up things for Kelsey a little bit too, but for now they're fucked. And the Ravens, I don't think I would want the Chiefs at this number, even though it's Mahomes.
Yeah, I think that like the Chiefs already had a couple steps up in class this year, week 1 and 2, Chargers, Eagles. I thought they didn't look great in either of those games, offensively especially. I see some 2.5s out there right now. I mean, the real problem is I don't know what to make of Ravens Lions tomorrow night. I don't want to buy the 2.5s and then that ends up being a close game, something like that. But Baltimore's dealing with some significant injuries in their defensive front seven.
Yeah. I felt really good about the over that we took with Casey and the Giants today too, and that didn't even sniff it at any point either. So that total feels a little high to me too.
I was going to say the same. I mean, there's a 49.5 right now. It seems a titch high.
Yeah.
Seems a titch high up there. Frank Davis says Kelsey looked pissed all game. It's because Noah Gray was getting so many targets. I don't know. Yeah, Jordan says a lot of Mahomes is a dog again this week. I'm off the Mahomes. I mean, in hindsight, it was probably the laziest analysis I did. You know what? It wasn't really lazy. There was some precedent to him pulling out the close games.
Yeah,
I will stick with that.
It happened so much that I don't think you could account it to being, just positive variance alone. There are just too many instances of it. Now I just worry that the Chiefs aren't going to be close enough in these games anymore to make it that one-score game where the Chiefs go down and they just find a way to win a game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bears at Raiders, also in our late slate next week. Fanduel is currently at -1.5 plus 100. Most of the market is at a 1 here. Fanduel's pretty high on the total relative to other spots as well. 47.5 juice towards the under. I like the Raiders.
Yeah, I do too. And I don't know if this is just me being a negative, cynical Bears fan, but I kind of like the Raiders too.
I think it's a good sell. Well, listen, the Raiders' defense is bad, so I'm not going to pretend like they have this, bona fide stud defense, but they have some good edge rushers. They will attack Caleb a little bit more than the Dallas defense did today. It almost feels like there was like a weird trend for a long period of time. I want to say maybe a decade ago, where it was the team after playing the Steelers, like they somehow never covered. And what people would always say was like, well, the Steelers games were so physical that they never covered. I feel like there's going to be this trend following playing the Cowboys defense this year, where it's like, okay, the offense looks functional again now, and then they go up against even another team that's bad, but not catastrophically bad, and they just can't piece it all together. And I think that's where I'm at here. I'm not impressed with the Raiders in the last few weeks. I'm scared to death about Pete Carroll against Ben Johnson. I think that could be something that swings the game slightly towards the Bears. But I was expecting to see maybe there's not a ton of value here. I just feel like I'm going to talk myself into the Raiders, especially when you look at that corner situation for the Bears right now. Disaster.
Yeah, I would say people take a look in the market for better totals on the over because they're out there. It looks like they're out there. That's where my look is going. But I would, if you force me to pick a side, yes, I would also take. I think the Raiders is the right look.
So I don't have the numbers up in front of me, and I actually don't want to pull them up, or else everything's going to start lagging for me here. But everybody seems, including the chat, to be in on this over. The Raiders play so slow. Like I have to look into this further, but they are the slowest moving team that I can. This is like a classic Pete Carroll type of thing. That is a major concern for me if I'm betting the over in this game. They still run a very old school type of offense. So I wouldn't be surprised if I actually have an edge on the under in this game when I officially run numbers, despite the injuries. And I think it's purely because of the Raiders' pace of play.
Yeah, that absolutely tracks. I could see that.
I think another good buy spot for the Raiders here is just because the special teams was so bad today as well. Like, you know, you look at that final score, and I'm not saying the Commanders didn't deserve to win by margin, but special teams was pretty lethally bad for Las Vegas today.
And look at it, their schedule so far this year. They played at New England, home against the Chargers, and at Washington. Total 33-29, and today was a big number, but a lot of that was game state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough. FanDuel another week though of opening, definitely having their own openers.
I like that. So I don't do much opener betting, like pure openers. But I like looking at the board and not everybody is copying each other. I mean,
for sure.
I do enjoy when that happens. Like there's a minus 102 Raiders money line right now. I mean, I can't get much on that, but I think that would be a pretty solid bet. Okay, keep it moving along here. Just a few more games to go. We got Sunday Night Football, which is Micah Parsons' revenge game, as you'll hear about a million times this week. Packers at the Cowboys. FanDuel is Packers minus 5.5, minus 120. We have some sixes in market. We have a 6.5 in market as well. Total in the game, 48.5. I can't do this week in the NFL, man. I just don't think I'm ready for this week in the NFL.
Any word on CD after the game?
You never know. Like Jerry Jones says he was optimistic. CD himself, I think, said that like it's nothing serious. Look at that play. It looks like his leg got pretty messed up. I don't know how much I'm buying into that right now. Oh man. What is the path to success for Dallas's defense in this game? I don't know that there is one.
Green Bay has to only put 10 on offense to match the 10 Cowboys are going to have on defense. Like that's the only thing I could think of. And it's still probably not enough.
Jordan in the chat says, is it bad? I like the Cowboys at 6. Chosen says, I have an edge on Cowboys. I should take a week off. And I know based off of like where I had these teams rated in market going into this week, I almost certainly will have a small edge on Dallas at this price.
Yeah, I think so too. And do you have Green Bay? Just using predictable kind of as kind of your baseline. Do you think I had Green Bay slightly worse than market? But
I have them at like about just under a 6, I would say.
Yeah. All right. So about the same.
Yeah. Them and Philly were pretty close for me this week. Can't remember exactly where they were at, but I want to say like mid 5.5s, something along those lines.
Where do you think this closes? Say CD plays. Do you think it closes at 6 or do you think it stays at 5.5?
If CD plays, I think that this is going to be a game that has a sharp square divide. Let's just put it that way. I cannot see any sort of recreational betting on the Cowboys after today. Even though the way Green Bay looked, doesn't matter. Throw it out the window. We've seen Green Bay look great. So I think that's going to happen. But again, like we're betting numbers, right? We're not just betting the teams. And it's gotten out to quite a point where, I'm going to have to debate it. Oh man, this is a disgusting game for me.
If this gets to 6.5, I can't see not taking Dallas.
The biggest problem for me is that like Green Bay has injuries on the offensive line. Is Dallas the team that's going to exploit that? No, they're not. Dallas, CeeDee Lamb, centers out, quarterbacks 1 through 3 potentially out if we were to believe that Trayvon Diggs is actually hurt. But Deron Bland missed again this week. I don't know. His status could be more up in the air for next week, which would be huge. Micah Parsons is making at least one game-wrecking play. At least one. Oh, Kenny Clark left. I think Kenny Clark came back into the game, chosen as well.
Micah Parsons might hurt Dak Prescott.
Okay. That's another one that I will have to ponder over the course of this week. What do you think about this total at 48.5?
Very dependent on how CeeDee Lamb plays, but
yeah.
Actually kind of feels about right to me.
Okay.
I don't have a strong inclination to go one way or the other.
Yep. I'm sort of in the same boat as you as well. I was just curious. We got double Monday Night Football next week. It's going to start with...
Jesus Christ, these games are terrible.
You know what? It's 2 games. They're somewhat overlapping. We could bet on them. I'll take Monday Night Football over no Monday Night Football. I'll tell you that right now.
Agreed.
Dolphins laying 2.5, minus 120 at home to the Jets. Total at FanDuel 43.5, juiced towards the over. Okay, so immediately I like the over in this game. I don't know if Tyrod's playing or Fields. Fields obviously dealing with the concussion. I think the Jets profile, both of these teams profile as over teams. Jets, I mean, both are just dealing with significant defensive injuries at this point, right? The Jets, Jermaine Johnson missed this week with an ankle. Quincy Williams left today. Tony Adams is out with a groin injury. Corners for Miami, Jason Marshall, another corner, pulled his hammy this week. He's week to week. I think 44. Like, you don't have to go 43.5 minus 118. You can just go flat 44, but I don't see how this is going to close 44 or less. I don't know. I feel like this is just going to go up.
It already did.
Okay.
I agree with you. This total, if there's still 43.5s out there, this looks like there's a wide range out there.
Yeah, this is pretty wide spreads. Frank Davis says Miami defense looked so much better against Buffalo, but don't think they will continue that. I mean, for perspective, okay, I agree. They got some stops. At the start of that game, I was not sure that Buffalo would punt at any point. But Buffalo had a 53% success rate on offense, 82.1 series conversion rate, 0.26 EPA per play. It's not like they shut him down. I will say I'm somewhat disappointed on the spread because I had targeted this as a game that I want to bet Miami, but the number is just not where I thought. I thought we were going to get like, I don't know what I thought.
2.5.
Yeah. Maybe it was just wishful thinking on my end.
This feels high for the Jets if it was a full 3. I don't know that I don't see a flat like a 3 minus 110 anywhere. I see some 120s. But that feels like even like right on the cusp of being a little too much.
Yeah, I just have zero faith in their defense right now is the reality. A Fields game, maybe I would consider that a little bit more than Tyrod. Tyrod threw pretty ugly pick 6 today to Jamel Dean as well. Like there's some bad football teams out there right now, people. There's
some bad quarterback play.
Yeah. And speaking of bad quarterback play, let's finish off at the final Monday Night Football game. Bengals at Broncos.
Bo versus Browning.
FanDuel, Broncos minus 7.5, total 44.5. Okay, so just like the millionth game this week, where it feels to me like the favorite is overpriced. Does it not feel like that to you?
It does. However, I don't think I could take Browning seriously. I don't think I could lay this though with Denver. So this is maybe another hold your nose spot and just be like, fuck. Think I have to click Cincy.
Oh man, it's Bo Nix to win by margin. That's tough. Like, he's not good. That first game against the Titans, week 1, I mean, based off the Titans' offensive numbers, that is an easy cover. Like, just mid-level quarterback play. The problem is we've now seen Browning against a good defense, and it did not go well.
Yeah, and I kind of think Denver's defense could lead to offense here too. Like, I don't think all of the burden to cover this will quote unquote be on Bo Nix, because I do think Cincy could cause a lot of damage to themselves. And I mean, Cincy's defense has been hard to judge today because of the game state that they were in. They got in it early. I mean, the defense isn't very good either.
No, they suck. The Bengals suck. I mean, the interior O-line is a huge problem. They lost another guard today, I'm pretty sure, as well. I'm almost certain there was another offensive line injury today for Cincinnati. Yeah. Dalton Risner left. He's only playing because they have 2 guards already on IR. Cam Taylor-Britt didn't play today with hamstring injury. Those tend to be lingering, potentially multi-week. It's a bad football team, right? Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
it's just what is the buy point? And this may be it for me, as dumb as it sounds. Oof.
painful.
Yeah.
Who hasn't scored 30 against Cincy?
I don't know. So the Bengals. Dating back to last year, the defense is very bad.
I wonder if a Denver team total is a good look.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't do it. Cleveland week 1, was.
And I'll be honest, I think Cleveland left points on the board, like offensively in that game, a lot.
They undoubtedly did. I mean, I'm just like the Denver offensive numbers for today. They had 9 first downs. Like
I'd have to rewatch, I think, some of those plays and see how much they kind of left on the board too.
they had a 25% success rate today. Granted,
That's
different defense,
pretty bad.
but that's bad.
That's really bad.
25%.
And I remember, so I had that game up along with the Cardinals 49ers game. And I do remember thinking, I'm like, God, they're really leaving a lot of positive plays on the table.
I might be selling Denver. I mean, Denver had a +2 turnover margin today. They did nothing to capitalize on that. They lose the game. Cincy, I mean, they suck, and it was a horrible game. But -5 turnover margin, like, that's definitely going to get out of hand against a team like Minnesota. It's just unfortunate they also happen to be playing another good defense, and that's the real issue here.
Yeah, there really aren't that many good, fluid offenses out there at all.
Mm-hmm. I might just sleep through tomorrow and not even run numbers because I'm very scared at what the outputs are going to be. Like,
I don't think you're going to be happy with them.
I'm extremely scared of some of these outputs. Like, I don't mind the New England play early. I don't mind Atlanta early. But like when we start getting into talking about betting Tennessee and the Bengals and the Raiders, like, this is now getting into territory that I am not comfortable with. I don't want to be that guy, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like the only game that I'm like, maybe the Bills, just because I think the Saints are that bad. But I mean, who wants to click giving away 16.5 or 17? That's not.
I know.
It's not something I get excited to do.
Oh, I can't wait for the guys on Twitter to play teasers on the Saints and bring them up to like 22.5. I can't wait for that to happen. I'll see at least 1 or 2 of those this week. as if those points are extremely valuable points. But all right, that's going to do it for us this week. As a reminder, if you do enjoy the show, please smash that like button. Make sure you're subbed here on Forward Progress. And of course, if you could share this out, that's the easiest way to help us grow. Just share this out to your communities. If you're listening in audio form on Monday, thank you very much for doing so. Please rate and review 5 stars. That would be great. We got a jam-packed Monday here on the Hammer Betting Network. It starts at noon on the Hammer HQ as we have Hammer Daily with Jason Cooper recapping all that was in the NFL. Looking ahead to Monday Night Football, Judah will be on talking SGP angles for Monday Night Football. Circle Back, live 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. I've seen the rundown. I'm very much looking forward to Circle Back tomorrow. 5 o'clock, we got Hit the Books with Uncle K, Joey Knish, and Brad Powers. Make sure you check that out. They say I never promo them. I'm promoing them this time around. And then we got our Monday Night Football watch-along tomorrow night, Ravens-Lions. I'll be in the downtown Toronto studio. Hopefully can hit another banger. Man, I hit Drew Sample today on Pizza Buffet. I mean, it's getting nuts at this point. So hopefully hopefully I could find some winners. I feel like so much pressure on me now. Immense amount of pressure once you start hitting everything in the early going. But for myself, Rob Pizzola, for Clive Bixby, for our producer, Caustic Arrow, behind the scenes, and from our sponsors, Fanduel, thank you very much for watching. This has been the Sunday Reset here on Forward Progress. Peace out, everyone. Have a good night.